While you scroll freely through your phone, 25 million North Koreans live under 24/7 surveillance, where one wrong word can destroy 3 generations of a family. Kim Sung-chul protected North Korea's First Lady, Ri Sol-ju, but he couldn't protect his own family from a system that treats people as expendable tools. Today, you'll hear his first-hand account of what happens behind the luxury and propaganda, a story of surveillance, privilege, and a family's desperate escape. This is what freedom cost him. If these stories matter to you, please subscribe and hit the notification bell. Your support helps us bring these untold stories to light. Together, we can be a voice for those who cannot speak. My name is Kim Sung-chul. What I'm about to share is the story of how I served as Ri Sol-ju's bodyguard in North Korea and how my family and I risked everything to escape. In the spring of 2015, I received my acceptance notice for the Guard Command Special Recruitment. I was born in Hamhung, South Hamgyong Province, and had served 10 years as an infantry soldier in the People's Army. Getting into the Guard Command felt like a dream. I was 43 years old. Passing the background check, physical exam, and ideological screening meant our family had a clean record. That was something to be proud of. Sung-chul, you're going to serve the Supreme Leader up close. My mother cried over the phone from Hamhung. My father said nothing, but I could hear his voice trembling. He had fought in the Korean War as a People's Army soldier. For him, having his son become a bodyguard for the highest leader was an honor beyond measure. The bodyguard quarters in Pyongyang's Mansudae district were facilities ordinary citizens couldn't even imagine. 3 meals a day were guaranteed. Meat appeared 2 or 3 times a week. We woke at 5 in the morning and trained for 8 hours straight. But I was happy. We learned shooting, combat, vehicle operation, and emergency care. Most importantly, ideological education on loyalty to the party. And the Supreme Leader happened every single day. That fall, I was assigned to Ri Sol-ju's security team. My supervisor said, "You've now received the highest honor. You must protect her with your life." My chest swelled with pride. When I went home and told my wife Soon-hee, tears filled her eyes. "You're incredible. Our children will be so proud." But soon, I began noticing strange things. Bodyguards monitored each other. We had to report what others said, what expressions they made. Not even the smallest mistake was tolerated. Once, a senior bodyguard dozed off during duty and was dragged away on the spot. We never heard from him again. Still, I didn't question it. I told myself, this is all to protect the Supreme Leader. As long as I stayed loyal, there'd be no problem. That's what I believed. I didn't know then how fragile that belief was, how soon it would shatter. In the fall of 2016, I accompanied Ri Sol-ju throughout Pyongyang. She visited children's facilities, factories, and schools. I always stayed 3 meters behind her, scanning the surroundings. That's when the cracks in my mind began to form. The first shock came at Pyongyang Department Store No. 1, Ri Sol-ju entered a special section, a place ordinary citizens couldn't even approach. I stood guard at the door and glanced inside. French handbags, Swiss watches, Italian shoes lined the shelves. I saw one price tag and froze. It cost more than 10 years of my family's rations. "What is this?" My head spun. On television, they told us, we must all tighten our belts. But here, these things were being purchased? I couldn't voice these thoughts. If I asked a fellow bodyguard, I'd be reported immediately. What shocked me more were the educational facilities. One day, Ri Sol-ju visited a special education center. Foreign teachers worked there. Children spoke fluent English and Chinese. The computers were state-of-the-art. Many of the books were foreign. It was completely different from the Pyongyang school. My daughter Ji-yoon attended. Her school barely had heating in winter. Textbooks were so worn that multiple students had to share them. They said everyone was equal. Is this equality? I asked myself, but no answer came. The decisive moment came during an orphanage visit. It was a day scheduled for television filming. 2 days before Ri Sol-ju's arrival, the orphanage erupted into chaos. They repainted the walls, fitted the children with new clothes. They even brought in healthy, attractive children from other orphanages. In front of the cameras, Ri Sol-ju held the children and shed tears. But I knew the truth. Once filming ended, everything would return to normal. The new clothes would be taken back. The borrowed children would be sent away. The walls would crack again. That night, back in my quarters, I couldn't sleep. At home, I carefully asked my wife, "Soon-hee, what we've learned?" Is this really an equal society? She jumped and covered my mouth. Honey, don't say things like that. What if someone hears? Seeing her trembling hands, I understood. We couldn't think freely. We couldn't speak freely. My father once told me it wasn't like this during the Korean War. Back then, even if life was hard, there was hope. But now even hope was forbidden. The crack in my heart kept growing. The winter of 2017 was the coldest of my life. Not because of the weather, because of my colleague Park, Sung-chul's disappearance. Sung-chul and I had trained together. He was diligent and quiet. One day he simply vanished. He didn't show up for morning roll call. His belongings remained untouched. We all exchanged nervous glances. No one dared to ask. Days later, a rumor spread. Sung-chul had dozed off during duty. Just 3 seconds. But that was enough. He was sent to a political prison camp. His wife and 2 sons were dragged away with him. Guilt by association. One person's mistake and the entire family goes to hell. That night I couldn't sleep. What happens if I make a mistake? What about Soon-hee? Min-hyuk and Ji-un? My hands trembled. My wife and children's faces kept appearing before me. Our 25-year-old son, Min-hyuk, had graduated from university and was serving in the military. Our 22-year-old daughter, Ji-un, was studying at Pyongyang Light Industry University. To make, we boarded the train to Haisan. It took 2 days. The train was packed with people, mostly traders heading to do business. Ji-un was so tense her hands were ice cold. I squeezed her hand tightly. It's okay. Dad's here. In Haisan, we met the broker. A Chinese-Korean man. Got all the money? I handed him $5,000. 10 years of living expenses for our family. The broker counted it and nodded. Tonight at 11, head to the upper reaches of the Yalu River. That's where the water's shallow. We couldn't eat dinner. Food wouldn't go down. Same for my wife and children. We waited in a rundown house on the outskirts of Haisan. At 11 that night, the broker arrived. Let's go. Stay quiet. We walked a dark mountain path for over an hour. Though it were matters worse, Ji-un had a problem at school. During class, she said, in South Korean dramas it was like this, and became a target of criticism. Her professor called me in. Comrade, you need to educate your daughter better. It's problematic when things like this happen in a bodyguard's family. Cold sweat ran down my back. Being Ri-Sol-ju's bodyguard could actually become a poison. The higher the expectations, the more intense the surveillance. When I got home, I scolded Ji-un. You could get our whole family killed, Ji-un cried. Dad, I'm sorry. I was just curious. About how people in the South live, hearing those words broke my heart. My daughter was being punished for being curious. Is this normal? Problems arose at my wife's factory, too. Rations had been cut off for 3 months. The factory machines broke down, so there was no production and no rations. My wife started trading at the market, but if she got caught by the crackdown unit, she had to pay bribes. The bigger problem was my parents in Hamhung. My mother had pneumonia, but the hospital had no medicine. I obtained medicine from Pyongyang and sent it to her, but it wasn't easy. Even at the hospital, they demanded bribes. The saying, getting 1 pill of medicine is like plucking a star from the sky hit home. Every night I had nightmares. Dreams of being dragged away like Sung-chul. Dreams of my children crying. Dreams of my parents dying. I'd wake up drenched in sweat. That's when it hit me. No amount of loyalty mattered. In this system, anyone could become a sacrificial lamb at any time. Our family had no future. We couldn't live like this anymore. In April 2018, an event changed my life. The Inter-Korean Summit was held at Panmunjom, and I was assigned to Ri-Sol-ju's security detail. That day at Panmunjom, I saw the Southern bodyguards. Their eyes were different. They were tense, but there was no fear. We lived in constant fear. Terror that one mistake would get us dragged away. Anxiety that our families might suffer. But their eyes showed none of that. On the ride back to quarters after the summit, I stared out the window. So that's how people over there live. They serve their country, but their country protects them. I couldn't sleep that night. The decisive moment came that fall. While accompanying Ri-Sol-ju, I overheard a conversation between high-ranking officials. The people are just tools. Use them when needed. Discard them when problems arise. Hearing that, my mind went blank. Was this what I'd risked my life for? To serve these people? That evening, I came home and called my wife. Soon-hee, I need to talk to you. She tensed when she saw my expression. I spoke carefully. What if we went to the south? She nearly stopped breathing. Honey, what are you saying? I gripped her hand tightly. We can't go on like this. Our children have no future. Days later, we held a family meeting. I called Min-hyuk and Ji-un and spoke carefully. At first, they looked disbelieving. But when I told them what I'd witnessed, they nodded. Min-hyuk said, "Father, I felt it too in the military." "This isn't right," Ji-un cried. "What about grandmother and grandfather? That was the most painful part. My parents in Hamhung, both over 80 now. Taking them on an escape was impossible." I held back tears. "Later, I'll bring them later, when unification comes." But I couldn't be certain that was possible. From that day, we prepared for 8 months. Using my bodyguard status, I gathered border intelligence. I cautiously contacted a Chinese-Korean broker. My wife hid money she'd made at the market. We saved bribes we'd received. The escape cost alone required $5,000 US. One day I visited Hamhung, officially to check on my parents, but actually to say goodbye. I held my mother's hand. "Mother, stay healthy." She gripped my hand tightly. "Sung-chul, why does your face look like that lately? Is something worrying you?" I shook my head. "No, Mother. I'm fine." I went to my father's grave. He had passed away the previous year. Kneeling before his grave, I prayed silently. "Father, I'm sorry. Please forgive this unfilial son. But I have to save your grandchildren at least." In June 2019, we finally set the date. We were about to cross a river with no return. June 15th, 2019, 2 in the morning. We left our Pyongyang home, 4 family members, 2 small bags. That was everything. "Honey, are we really doing this?" my wife asked one last time. I nodded. "It's now or never. Let's go." Min-hyuk took his sister Ji-un's hand. "It's okay, sis. Let's trust Dad." Having a bodyguard ID made checkpoints in Pyongyang easy. "Traveling to Hisan on security duty for Comrade Risol Ju," I said. The guard saluted. My heart pounded. If we're caught, it's over. The whole family is done. At Pyongyang Station's June, the night air was cold. Ji-un stumbled and fell. "Dad." I lifted her up. "Just a bit more. It'll be over soon." The Yalu River came into view, water glinting in the moonlight. China was on the other side. The broker spoke. "See that light? That's the Chinese patrol. When the light moves left, we cross. You've got 10 minutes. The wait felt like eternity. My heart was about to burst. My wife gripped my arm tight. Min-hyuk held his sister close. Finally, the light moved. "Now run!" We plunged into the river. Water reached our waists. Even in June, it was bone-chilling. The riverbed stones were slippery. My wife stumbled. "Honey," I caught her. Min-hyuk carried Ji-un on his back. Halfway across, the light appeared again. The patrol was coming back. "Get down!" We hid in the river water. Cold water rose to our necks. Ji-un was shaking. I covered her mouth. "Shh, can't make a sound." The light passed us. We waited in the water for an hour. My whole body felt frozen. I prayed silently. "Ancestors in heaven, please let our family survive." Finally, the light moved away. "Hurry!" We crossed the river again. When we set foot on Chinese soil, my legs gave out. My wife collapsed and cried. Min-hyuk and Ji-un cried too. So did I, but our joy was brief. The broker said, "This is where it really starts. If Chinese police catch you, you'll be sent back to North Korea. Move fast!" We started walking again in our soaked clothes. When we reached Chinese soil, I thought we'd found freedom. But that was an illusion. China was another kind of prison. The broker took us to a shabby apartment in Yanji. 4 family members in one room. We couldn't even open the windows. Couldn't go outside. Chinese police conduct frequent raids. When they catch defectors, they send them back north. That means execution for the whole family. The broker's words sent chills down my spine. Every day was hell, living locked in a cramped room, holding our breath. Ji-un developed a fever from stress, but we couldn't go to the hospital. If our identity was exposed, it was over. My wife bought medicine from a pharmacy, but Ji-un's fever wouldn't break easily. I spent all night cooling her forehead and crying. "Ji-un, I'm sorry. Dad is so sorry." Money was a problem too. The money we'd brought ran out. To eat, we had to work. Min-hyuk went out first. He worked at a factory at night. Couldn't speak Chinese, so only manual labor. 12 hours of work for 50 yuan, about 8,000 won in our money. My wife worked at a restaurant run by Korean Chinese, washing dishes and cleaning. "Honey, this is harder than working at the Pyongyang textile factory." My wife's hands grew rough and cracked. It hurt to see, but there was no choice. I had to work too. Me, who had been resold Jew's bodyguard, ended up carrying cement at construction sites. 50-kilogram cement bags all day long. After the first day, I came home and collapsed. My whole body felt shattered. Is this my life now? Tears came. 3 months passed. We were getting exhausted. How long would we have to hide like this? China wasn't safe either. One day, a defector family living in the same building got caught in a raid. We heard screams, "Please save us!" But they were dragged away. Rumors said they were sent back to North Korea. That night, our family trembled in fear. "Are we going to end up like that?" Jong Un cried. I held my family. "No, we're definitely going to make it to South Korea. Don't give up." Hope came from an unexpected place. A Korean Chinese church pastor. My wife cautiously visited the church and the pastor said he'd help us. There's a way to get to South Korea. Not easy, but possible. Tears came at the pastor's words. The pastor gave us food and planned our route to South Korea. Go through Southeast Asia to Thailand. At the Thai embassy, you can reach South Korea, but you need more money. $2,000 per person. 4 people meant $8,000. We worked 2 more months. 16 hours a day, slept only 4 hours. Min Hyuk worked at 2 factories. Ji-yoon recovered and started working at a clothing factory. The whole family scraped together every dollar. Finally, we had the money. The pastor said, "It's time to leave. God will be with you." I bowed to him. "Pastor, I'll never forget your kindness. Thank you for helping us as fellow Koreans." In October 2019, we left China and headed south. Our long journey to South Korea had begun. In October 2019, we boarded the train from Shenyang to Kunming, 3 days traveling south, carrying forged ID cards, hearts pounding the whole way. Every time the conductor came through the train, my heart stopped. But the broker's fake IDs worked. We posed as Chinese Korean. Since we couldn't speak Chinese, we pretended to be sick. Min Hyuk had learned a bit of Chinese and answered for us. In Kunming, we met another broker. "It gets more dangerous from here. We have to go by truck to the Laos border. If you get caught, I can't save you." We hid in the truck bed, dark and suffocating. Couldn't leave the truck for a full day. Couldn't use the bathroom. Ji-yoon cried. "Dad, I can't hold it anymore." I held her. Just a little more. Just a bit longer. We reached the Laos border, crossed at night, crawled under barbed wire. Our clothes ripped. Our hands bled. But we endured. Because success meant freedom, we walked through the Laos jungle for 3 days. No paths in the forest. Snakes appeared. Insects bit us. At night, we shivered from cold. During the day, we nearly collapsed from heat. My wife and I were nearly 50. A path that would have been hard even when young. Walking it at our age was exhausting. One night, my wife collapsed. "Honey, I can't go on. I'm going to die here." I carried her on my back. "No, we have to go together. We've come this far. Can't give up now." Min Hyuk took my bag. "Dad, I'll carry this. You carry Mom." We finally reached a Laos village. The broker said, "Now we drive to Thailand. But there are Laos police checkpoints. We'll have to pay bribes." We paid more money. Our remaining funds were running low. At the Thai border, Laos police stopped us. They claimed our documents looked suspicious and demanded money. The broker negotiated. In the end, we gave them all our remaining money. But we got through. When we set foot on Thai soil, the broker said, "From here, you're on your own. Go to the police station. Say you're Korean. They'll contact the embassy." The broker disappeared. We walked to find a Thai police station. I told the officer, "Korea, Korea." Drew the South Korean flag with my hands. The officer nodded and made a phone call. The next day, a South Korean embassy official arrived. The moment I heard Korean, tears poured out. We are citizens of the Republic of Korea. We came from North Korea." The official said, "You've been through so much. You're safe now. You'll be able to go to South Korea soon." Through the police station window, I saw the South Korean flag, fluttering in the wind. I stood before it and cried. Min Hyuk cried. Ji-yoon cried. My wife cried. It had been 5 months since we'd left Pyongyang. That night, we sat together in our lodging. "We did it. We really did it," Min Hyuk said. "Dad, you worked so hard." Ji-yoon asked, "Are we really going to be free now?" I nodded. "Yes, now we're free." But my heart ached thinking of my mother in Hamhung. Does she know her son defected? Is she still alive? Will I ever see her again? December 5th, 2019. We arrived at Incheon Airport. Stepping off the plane onto South Korean soil, my legs gave out. Honey, we're really in Korea. The Republic of Korea, my wife cried. At the airport, officials from the Ministry of Unification greeted us. Welcome. You've been through so much. Hearing those words, the past 6 months flashed before my eyes. The freezing water of the Yalu River, the suffocating life in China, the pain of the Laos jungle. It was all over. We spent 3 months at Hanawan, a place to learn about life in South Korea. At first, everything amazed us. Not being reported for not knowing your neighbors, not being arrested for watching foreign news on your phone. All of this was strange and surprising. One day, I saw protests in front of the Blue House on television. People were criticizing the president. I was shocked. Is this possible? An employee nearby laughed. This is a liberal democracy. That moment, I remembered guarding Ri-sol-ju. In the North, such a thing was unimaginable. Min-hyuk searched for North Korean news on YouTube. Dad, we can search for Kim Jong Un here. We can see more detailed North Korean news in South Korea than in North Korea. That was amazing, too. Information forbidden in the North here, we could access it freely. Ji-un prepared for university entrance. Dad, here. People don't get blocked from college because of their background. You just take the test. Seeing my daughter's bright face brought tears. In the North, being a bodyguard was actually a burden. Here, nobody cared. We left Hanawan and settled near Seoul. Got a small apartment. Started with government support money. I found work as an apartment security guard. From Ri-sol-ju's bodyguard to apartment security guard. At first, my pride was hurt. But I soon realized this was an honorable job, too. A country where trading wasn't a crime, but a profession that was the Republic of Korea. My wife worked at a restaurant. Honey, in the North, market trading was illegal. Here I can work with dignity. A smile returned to my wife's face. Every night I thought of Hamhung. Is my mother still alive? How shocked was she when she learned I defected? Is she suffering because of guilt by association? Every holiday I bowed toward the North. Mother, I'm sorry. Please forgive this unfilial son. I will see you again. 5 years have passed. I'm 52 now. Min-hyuk works at a company. Ji-un attends university. It's an ordinary life, but I know how precious this ordinariness is. Sometimes I wonder, is Ri-sol-ju still buying luxury handbags? Do high-ranking officials still say the people are tools? She might be a victim, too. But that system must change. To the people still in the North, I say this. Don't give up. Freedom is closer than you think. A world is coming where your children will be judged by ability, not background. Where soldiers can freely walk around on leave. I hope unification happens in our generation. The day our divided nation reunites after the Korean War, I want to run to Hamhung and prostrate myself before my mother's grave. Mother, I've returned. Thank you, Republic of Korea. Thank you for giving us freedom.